Hey, it's time for Celebrate, and back here with us is the Arizona Hiking Mom, hanging out here in the studio. How you doing today, Carrie?
Hi, doing great.
So we're going to talk today about a big trail.
Mm-hmm.
Go
It's
ahead.
called Big Springs Loop Trail.
Yes.
Yes. So let's talk about how to get there first. So it's in Pinetop-Lakeside, and you turn at Woodland Road by the library, Blue Ridge Schools, and the movie theater.
Yeah, right there at the movie. The traffic light, that's where the Jack
Right.
Parker Park is. It's where the Christmas tree is, all
Exactly.
that kind of stuff. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So it's only half mile down the road from there. So that's one thing that I really love about this trail is that it's right there into town, but it's back off that main road. So it can be quiet and peaceful, and it's just like this gem that's there. So yeah, the trailhead is right there on the left, a half mile back. And so, and if it's pretty small parking lot, so if it is too full, you could park at the nature center just down the street. So when you park and get out, go ahead and check out the trailhead kiosk because there's a lot of really good information. The trail is so small that you likely won't get lost, but they have a really nice brochure that talks about the environmental study area that it is, different things to know on the trail, the history, interesting facts about the wildlife that visit there. So go ahead and check out the kiosk. There's a lot of really good information in there.
Cool.
So, and this trail is an easy loop trail. It's kid friendly. It's short, like I said, so you can get in and out quickly. Or if you if you can slow down and just take your time enjoying the trail, you don't have to rush.
So let me ask, is there a distance that you have on it? Is it under a half a mile? Is it
It's a half mile total. Yeah.
total half mile? Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty easy for almost anybody to be able to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And even young kids. So, and if you wanted to add on mileage, it connects to 5 other trails, and eventually it connects to Woodland Lake Park. So it's really nice. You can make it as long or as small as you want to of a hike. So
Yeah. Currently, there's a section of National Forest, U.S. National Forest, that sits between that area and Woodland Lake Park. You may have heard in discussions of the possible purchase of that. I think we're looking to do an assessment to see how much it would cost to do that. So
Oh, wow.
stay tuned on that.
Okay.
But being National Forest, you can access those trails and can get to the Woodland Lake
Yep.
Park from there.
And it's not too far of a hike either. And they're all well marked with like trail maps and these big colorful signs. And then there's, of course, the diamonds on the trees every quarter mile.
Yeah, so it's
on
part
track.
of the TRAX system.
Exactly.
And you
Yes.
can find that on the TRAX website. We'll link that down below.
Yep. So right away, when you walk down this trail, you'll notice some neat vegetation. And so like I'm the type of person on my hike that I look at everything, the plants, the animals, the sounds, the views, And so what I think is interesting and unique about this trail is that it does have like the prickly pear cacti and yucca plants, as well as the trees and plants that we notice on like all the trails up here. So it features like the ponderosa pines, of course, alligator juniper, blue spruce even, which I really enjoy, the blue little pine trees, and gimble oak. So that's beautiful to notice. And they're right next to the trail. And so right away you'll cross a bridge and you're crossing Walnut Creek. So just right at the beginning of the trail, you can enjoy the sounds of the flowing creek, and I just love it. It's so beautiful. And when I hiked there last weekend, there were actually a couple deer so I had to slow down and not scare them away. But
Nice.
There is the opportunity to even see deer on the trail because they'll go to the stream and. And so anyway, that was beautiful. And so you'll cross the bridge, and you may notice there's little like signposts that have
Right.
QR codes, and those have information about the trail. So diversity, the trail themes are diversity, change, watershed, and service adaptation or management. So.
Right.
So anyway, I'm not an expert in that stuff, but I think it's neat that it has the informational things that you can scan and learn about as you're hiking. And so on the right of the trail as you're walking, and this trail is easy and wide and it has gravel, so it's not too muddy. And there's this huge open meadow, and you'll see Big Springs, like pretty much right away because it's such a short trail.
Right.
And so what I love about Big Springs is that it stays warm year round. And so it never freezes over. So year round, you'll see, the water flowing, and you'll see the ducks and geese and even migrating birds. When I was there last weekend, there was just so many different birds and ducks that I don't often see on that trail. So it was just alive with noises and chatter. And what I read was there's even like bald eagles that migrate November to March. So keep an eye out for those. In the trees. So anyway, so Big Springs is huge. The water's clear, and there's even benches along. So, in our culture, we rush, and we just, even on hikes, we can really rush ourselves through them, especially if they're high mileage and you have a certain amount of time.
Right.
But this is not the trail to rush through. You want to just go slow, sit at the bench, enjoy the sounds, enjoy the wildlife. You'll notice raccoon tracks and different ducks and bird tracks, deer tracks, of course. And there is a beaver habitat there in the spring as well. So
very cool.
When I was there last weekend, I could hear the beaver like doing its sound, but I never saw it. But I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's the beaver. So, and you'll notice the damage the beaver has done, unfortunately, to some of the trees, to build its habitat. But there's this one really big alligator juniper. I swear it's been working on it for a couple of years. And so when I went last weekend, it was like so much thinner. So I'm like, oh, I wonder when that'll actually finally fall. Yeah. So anyway, and then when you get to the end of the spring, you can turn to the left and do the loop. And so it'll just take you up through the forest. And so I've done it both ways, where I do take the loop and just go back to the trailhead. But I also like to just walk back the same way I came, because the scenery is just so beautiful with the springs and the meadow and the creek and the wildlife. Because sometimes you'll notice different things walking a different direction on the trail. And so...
it's funny, beavers you mentioned. A few years back, I interviewed Jack Hanna, and I asked him about a story he hadn't told anybody. He told a story about getting bit by a beaver on the David Letterman show. Oh my gosh. And then going to a New York hospital and trying to convince them that, yes, he actually got bit by a beaver. And they're like, no, you got somebody sliced you. So it's kind of funny. But beavers are kind of funny.
Yeah. So that surprised me, because you don't normally see beavers, at least on any of the trails that I go to. So up here. And then one last thing to know is the informational pamphlet references that this there's history of indigenous people, so Mogollon people and White Mountain Apache, seeing signs of like their artifacts or where their dwellings used to be. So you might notice grinding stones and things like that. So just be very respectful of anything that you might find. But also it's a neat thing to keep your eye out for. I love finding Native American things on like hiking trails. It's a part of the history, and it's so beautiful. It's
a beautiful trail, and it's nice that you don't have to worry about not getting back in time. It's sometimes you're like, well, I don't know how long. This one is a nice one that halfway through it, it's easy.
Yeah.
So exactly. You don't have to worry about getting stuck out there in the dark or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And you'll get probably a different experience going at different times of day. So
awesome.
I hope you enjoy Big Springs. Check it out and enjoy all the different things that this trail has to offer.
Awesome. Once again, this is Carrie, the AZ Hiking Mom. Make sure you check out her Instagram. That's at AZ Hiking Mom. Very easy to find. We're going to put the link down below. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
And remember, go out there, have fun, enjoy, and leave no trace.
Exactly.
And celebrate.